Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, change of scenery, but I promised I'd get it done. No matter the result, no matter win, lose, or what happened to be a draw, I would be doing a match reaction of some sort from this lovely hotel room in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's a weird match reaction, isn't it? It's a frustrating one. It's an annoying one. It's one that if you look, listen, let's just cut to the chase here, shall I? I said in the podcast, a draw for Celtic would never have been a bad result. A draw for Celtic kept us in the battle. It kept us in a position of strength. It meant that we had our destiny in our hands as long as we won the rest of our games, including that game against Rangers at Celtic Park. But when you put yourself in the position that Celtic were in this afternoon, you put yourself in the position of the fact you're 2-0 up at half time, you're 3-2 up with minutes left, and then you don't leave the ground with all 3 points, it's pretty disappointing. And even though we still have that narrative there that Celtic can control the story themselves and go and win at Celtic Park and win every game and ultimately win the league title, there isn't that sense of guarantee surrounding that. I think that today, at moments in the game, Celtic showed that they're still better than Rangers, but all it takes is something to change a game, and that's what happened this afternoon. So that's all it takes at Celtic Park. So there's absolutely no guarantee that Celtic are going to win when it comes to that Parkhead fixture. So it's got to be a long road. As short as it is, I mean, there's only 6 games left in the season now. As short as that actually is, it's going to be a long road. So we're going to try and cover everything. I think the bigger picture is the main talking point, and we're going to try and cover all grounds of it. If you haven't, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. That would be nice as we try and drag out this match preview. Early doors here, 7 a.m. kickoff in Philadelphia after a late one at WrestleMania last night. I'm back at WrestleMania tonight. Maybe because I have events like that, the result doesn't feel as bad as it should. If I was back home watching it with the old man, I'd probably be absolutely devastated right now. But I still am a bit. It has taken a bit of oomph away from my day, away from the atmosphere of what this trip is. But listen, it's football, and what a game we witnessed, to be fair. If you want to talk about it from a neutral point of view, Jesus, what a game. I mean, 6 goals, cards, penalties, the rest of it, and trust me, we're going to talk about the penalties. It's a great game for a neutral, but for us Celtic fans, it's going to be a frustrating one to talk about for a long time, especially if come the end of the season we're not lifting the Scottish Premiership trophy. We're going to look back in this game in a very, very negative light. We're going to look back in this game and think to ourselves, what could have been? And I hate it when you leave derby games like that. I hate it because there's so much we could have done that could have resulted in Celtic winning this game. I think there was moments where we could have done things differently. I think the biggest thing for me is the penalty changed the game. The Rangers penalty changed the game. This is the old cliche, isn't it? Football, a game of 2 halves. Of course it is. It's like a first half, second half. But today was a very fine example of that old cliche about it being 2 halves. Celtic in total control. You wouldn't think Rangers are challenging for a league title off the first half performance that they put out. You might hear a shower running, by the way, so apologies if you do. Celtic were all over them. Celtic were much, much better. We were the only team creating chances. Rangers looked lost. Dyson Maeda had James Tavernier on strings. And in the first half, it was the same case of the same old losers. Tavernier being the way he was, Goldson being the way he was. And that was, you're going into it at half-time. And I wasn't getting ahead of myself. I could easily went on Twitter and said things and whatever. Wouldn't do that because you never know how a derby game's going to go. And why would you want to leave yourself with egg in your face? But that was how the first half felt. It felt like Celtic being the superior side, being the team that are clearly champions and defending a championship trophy, and it looked all easy. It looked brilliant. I was at half time going, right, okay, this is great. 2-0 up. I think we could get another one in the second half, and that'll be it. Shut shop, professional performance, keep out any goals. We were brilliant. We're doing everything right. I think everybody put in a good shift. There was very little bad performers in the first half. If there was no bad performers in the first half, I would stretch as far to say Joe Hart made a couple of fantastic saves, which to me backed up the point that I made the other day about him being player of the year. First half, we were just in total control. And then the second half comes along. And that changes. And for me, the changing point of the game was when Rangers scored that penalty, because up until they got the penalty, there wasn't enough for me to suggest that Rangers were getting back into the game to the extent they did. they looked like they were the team that needed a goal, and they were playing, a bit more positive than us. They were the team on the front foot. But there wasn't anything there that got me worried. There wasn't anything there that suggested to me that Rangers were going to come back and make it 2-2. But then the penalty happened. They scored the penalty and the game changed. Rangers were on top of Celtic. They were putting the pressure onto Celtic. They were doing everything that a side chasing a game needs to do, and they were doing it well. And Celtic just were struggling to handle it. They handled it well at points. I'm not saying that we were totally hopeless, but it changed the game big time. And Rangers found themselves back in the game quite quickly. They were just creating chances. They were making us stress. They were making us misplaced passes. We got sloppy. And you could see that those traits that I was talking about with Rangers in the first half, being sloppy and people getting run over the top of, that was, I was seeping into the other side. That was seeping into us. I couldn't tell you the amount of misplaced passes that we had in the second half, because I always count after a couple. And that's because Rangers got back into the game. However, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the nature of the Rangers penalty. And I know that's what most people are going to be clicking on for, and I know people want to hear my opinions. It's not a penalty when even Kenny Miller's agreeing with you. Kenny Miller's saying it's not a penalty. It's never a penalty. It's a terrible decision. I'm not surprised it's been given, and I think the hand has been forced by the fact there was slight contact on Fabio Silva. But he was throwing himself, it was an embarrassment. He was throwing himself around the whole game, hitting the floor. I was watching, this might be the first time in my life ever today I was watching a game with a Rangers fan. Never watched a derby with a Rangers fan in my life. First time today, and even the same things were being said. Silva was embarrassing. He was throwing himself to the ground every 2 minutes, dive after dive after dive, and that's quite frankly what it was for the penalty. So, go and make the decision. John Beaton says, yeah, it's a penalty, gives a penalty because there's a slight contact, but it doesn't take away from the fact it's a dive. So how does it make it a penalty? Decision was made. Tavernier scores it, changes the game. Rangers were right back in it. They soon found their equaliser, and from there, Celtic had to find something. And they did. But it wasn't enough. And what's annoying is I've not even covered Celtic's first 2 goals yet, which is frustrating because we got, they were good goals. The penalty, not even started, but we'll come back to them in a moment. It's about the bigger picture. I mean, the goals feel insignificant now that the game's done and the result's there, and the importance of the result now stands so true. But the second, that Ida goal, once again, that's fantastic. We were waiting on that. It was almost like as if Rangers had let their guard down, because there was a couple of chances as well that Celtic had late in the second half that we probably should have done better with. There was the one that Ida got across to Yang, and don't get me wrong, it was good defending from the Rangers player who managed to get down on the back of Yang and stop him from getting a shot on goal. However, what I will say is the fact that chances like that we missed, it made you think, right, we're not going to get this today. But then he just steps up and does that, and you're like, oh, good, we're going to win this game. No. And it's a cracking finish from Matondo to win the game for Rangers. But there was just so many wee moments in that second half where you could see things weren't there for Celtic in terms of the same professionalism, the same mentality. McGregor's sloppy pass that led to a goal. Moments like Yang's defending when Matondo scores the equaliser. There was just moments where Celtic didn't shine through as the champions that they are, and they didn't hold on with that same mentality, and it's like the pressure got to them a little bit, and that's ultimately why we've bottled it. It does feel unacceptable to bottle a game, a derby game, such an important derby game, from 2-0 up, and then from 3-2 up so late in the game to then walk away with a point. It does feel like that, and it's a bit of a gut punch, to be quite honest, but it is what it is. Matt O'Reilly, fantastic, sexy penalty, doesn't really matter now. Dyson Maeda, love you, doesn't really matter now. We got off to a great start and we just didn't follow through, did we? So, listen, Celtic Park is going to be a big one, but we can just skip to that. We've got St Mirren next. We've got the split fixtures, which we don't know the order of yet next. Celtic need to win every game from now till the end of the season. It's as simple as that. We can't lick our wounds. We can't let this be the end of the season. Listen, all week we've been saying a draw wouldn't be the worst result for Celtic, so don't act like it. Don't act like it's the end of the world. There still is a chance Celtic can get this done. We just need to win every game now. I don't know what your confidence feels like, if you feel like we can do that, but I'm I'm optimistic. I think I've seen enough in the positive side of today's game, that first half. If we can stretch that first half performance over 90 at Celtic Park, I feel like we can get the 3 points. But it's in paramount importance that we don't look forward to that derby. We look at a game at a time at St Mirren now, a place where we can slip up, a game where we can slip up. So we need to look forward to that one game at a time, get the job done, and then we'll take on Rangers when it has to be done. And hopefully Dundee can do us a favour midweek. That would be nice. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up so I can go and get my breakfast. I'm starving. Apologies for the lack of quality in terms of lighting and you know, the usual editing standards and stuff. You all know the reason why I'm here. I've got very limited equipment with me. But listen, I've tried. I said I promised to get the video done, and it's here. So let me know your opinions. We will dive more in depth to this game when I'm back on Wednesday. We'll go live and get a discussion going or whatnot. So check out the videos. Try and get one maybe done before I'm back as well, but we'll see what happens. Thank you all. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.